Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We can chant once more. Let's raise our hands up in the air, calling out for the blessings of Shri Shri Radha Golokananda. And let's loudly chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Everyone together, please join. Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining us. And we'd like to welcome those who are here for the first time. Can we just, those who we didn't get the chance to welcome earlier, those who are here for the first time, could you just raise your hands? Yeah. First time, yeah. You're from NC State? Oh, UNC. Okay. Your name is? Sydney. Okay, Sydney. Let's welcome Sydney from UNC. Haribo. Thank you. Nice to see all students from UNC, NC State and Duke. Thank you all for coming. And again, I would make a request if you all can kindly move forward. We are already full and during the class, we are going to get so many people who are going to come to the temple room. So you can fill in the gaps. Then we don't have to make this announcement during the class. Thank you so much. So as I announced earlier, we're going to have the talk by His Holiness Bir Krishna Goswami Maharaj. After the talk, we'll have Abhishek of Giriraj Govardhan. Everyone will get to participate in this very, very special Abhishek. And then we go downstairs and there's nice offering of ghee lamps, circumambulation, and then some cultural performance and dinner. That's our program for today. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you very much, Aditya Narayan Prabhu. And today we are celebrating, watch out for the wire. Today we are celebrating Okay, Haribol. Today we are celebrating two things. Govardhan Puja, which Puja means worship of Govardhan. Govardhan is a very big hill that is situated in the Mathura district in India, and is considered a sacred hill because it's non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Krishna lifted it approximately 5,000 years, actually more than 5,000 years ago. So it's considered to be the day that we commemorate the worship of Govardhan Hill that was done over 5,000 years ago. In addition, it is Diwali we're celebrating. Diwali is a very special day, and it commemorates the coming home of Lord Ramchandra to Ayodhya, as well as killing Narakasura. And it's also the day that Mother Yashoda and Krishna performed the Damodara Leela. So many things happen on this, but more things happen on this particular day. Also, it's a day in which we worship Lakshmi, too. And all of you hope to have more Lakshmi in your homes. So you keep your windows open so Lakshmi can enter into your homes, right? Those of you from India know what I'm talking about. And you don't give any donations on that day because you don't want Lakshmi to go away for the rest of the year. So you just keep the money there. So Lakshmi means money, of course, and she's the goddess of wealth. And at the same time, if one worships Lakshmi without worshiping Narayan, or worships Sita Devi without worshiping Ram, guess what happens? She leaves anyway. So, better worship Ram, better worship Krishna, better worship Lord Narayan. Anyway, these are all forms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So primarily this evening we're going to talk about the Govardhan Puja, and actually especially the pilgrimage around Govardhan, because around Govardhan there's many pastime sites of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And we're going to do a quick parikrama. Normally takes about 8 hours. We're going to try to do it in 45 minutes. It's going to be real quick, so you'll have to really hear nicely as I speak really quickly. And I'll try to explain everything. But first we'll chant Jai Radha Madhava. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballabha Iri Bhadadhati Gopi Jana Ballabha Iri Bhadadhati Yasudhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasudhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Banachare Yamuna Tera Manachate Jayarandhu Madhava Kunya Bihati Jayarandhu Madhava Kunya Bihati Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Namo Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Bahu, Hare Bahu, Hare Bahu, Hare Bahu. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravidikacharya also Teta Satashi Shimad His Divine Grace Sabaya Charananda Bhaktivedanta Goswami Mahashila Prabhupada Ki Jai Iskan Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Shivasri Gaur Bhaktavinda Ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Sayam Mukunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavanam Ki Jai Mathuram Ki Jai Jagannath Swami Ki Jai Yamunamai Ki Jai Shrimati Lasi Devi Ki Jai Samveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nama Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prastaya Bhutale, Srimati Bhaktivedanta Samaniti Namani Namaste, Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharni, Nivashesha, Shunyavadi, Paschatya Jaisha, Tarne. So now we are going to embark upon, so Omagana Timiranda Shah Gananjana Shlakaya Chakshurun Meditam Yena Tasmai Shigadvaitamaha. So we are going to embark upon a very quick pilgrimage around Govardhan, where many of the pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead took place over 5,000 years ago. So very quick. Here's an overview of Govardhan. I know you can't see the details. We're going to be zooming in on each one of these particular pastimes, but basically you could see the outline of Govardhan in the middle, and Govardhan is considered to be shaped like a peacock that has its head where Radhakund and Shamakund is, and the tail is at the other end of the hill. And so all these pastimes took place there. And of course, Govardhan is most famous for having been lifted up by the left hand, the pinky of the left hand of Krishna, over 5,000 years ago when there was a torrential downpour that was instigated by a person named Indra. Indra was attempting to destroy all the residents of Krishna's village, and the reason he was attempting to do that was that he was really upset that Krishna didn't want his village friends to worship him, worship Indra. So he wanted to take revenge and to kill everybody, but fortunately Krishna was able to use Govardhan, which is quite a big hill, as an umbrella to shield the residents of Vrindavan. So many of these pastimes were revealed by Krishna's great grandson named Brajanabha, who came to this pilgrimage place after Krishna had left the planet, obviously, and he described the various places around Govardhan, and also he enabled quite a mystical experience, because when he had a kirtan, the residents of Govardhan that had been there when Krishna was there magically appeared, and Krishna actually magically appeared too. So here we see a sample of Govardhan Hill, and Govardhan Hill from the top. So we're going to start in the center of Govardhan, which consists of this one temple called the Mukara Vinda Temple. Now this Mukara Vinda Temple has some Govardhan Shilas. The Govardhan Shilas are stones from Govardhan, and these particular Govardhan Shilas are considered to be the mouth of Govardhan. And so because they're considered to be the mouth of Govardhan, they're being fed 24 hours a day. Because Govardhan has an insatiable appetite. He's non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the mountain incarnation of the Lord. He's also the best servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And over 5,000 years ago. So over 5,000 years ago, the villagers were offering him practically unlimited quantities of food, and he ate it all, and he still wanted more. And finally, he was satisfied with something called the tulsi leaf. That satisfied him. So right next to this temple, there's a lake called the Manasi Ganga. And this Ganges, means the mind Ganges, was created from Krishna directly from his mind. Some more views of the Manasi Ganga. That's the Mukara Vinda Temple. And the reason Krishna created a lake from his mind is because the Ganges is known as a place that purifies you even if you are very sinful. So sometimes people do bad things and then they go bathe in the Ganges. And sometimes people keep a little bottle of Ganges water with them so they can do bad things and that they spray each other after it. Famous amongst the criminals. But Krishna did ostensibly a bad thing one time. What was the bad thing that Krishna did? He killed a calf. Now, calves, cows, bulls are sacred. But this calf was a demon in disguise. He was called Vatsasura. But still, he was in the guise of a calf. So the cowherd boys said to Krishna, you have to go to the Ganges to get rid of your sins. Of course, Krishna doesn't have any sins, obviously, because just by chanting his name, then you get rid of all bad karma, all sinful reactions. You don't even have to worry about it. That doesn't mean you should do things like that, do bad things, and just go, Hare Krishna, kill you. Hare Krishna. It doesn't work like that. It won't work if you take advantage of it like that. It's one of the offenses on the chanting of the Lord's holy name. So Krishna created the Ganges from his mind, and he later on proved it was the Ganges by having the presiding deity of the Ganges, Ganga Devi, come out of the Ganges. When Yashoda Maya, his mother, and Nanda Maharaj, his father, wanted to go to the actual Ganges, he proved to them that this was the real Ganges. Krishna had various pastimes on this Manasa Ganga. One of the pastimes is that one time he was acting as a boatman and ferrying the gopis across the river. I'm not going to tell all the details of the story. And there was a storm, and the gopis, including Srimati Radharani, noticed that this particular boatman had a flute stuck into his belt. And then they grabbed Krishna, but Krishna was actually hiding himself for some time. There's some beautiful pictures of this particular pastime. And previously, they had not discovered it was Krishna, and because of the rough waters and the water sinking, and the boat sinking, he had asked them to throw all their milk products off over the boat, over the side, and even one point even asked them to throw their clothes over the side, but they were ready to throw him into the Manasa Ganga. And at the center of this whole particular area, there's the Bhajan Kutir of Sanatana Goswami, one of the great saints in the Gaudiya Vaishnava history. And this particular location is called the Chakaleshwara Mahadev spot. The reason it's called Chakaleshwara Mahadev is because the Sudarshan chakra of Krishna hovered over this particular area to protect Govardhan Hill when Indra was trying to inundate all of this particular area. And so Lord Shiva, in this particular form, is the guardian of this area, and he's known as Chakaleshwara Mahadev. In each of the various pilgrimage places, we find different manifestations of Lord Shiva. For example, in Vrindavan, Lord Shiva is known as Gopishwara Mahadev. And in Radhakund, Lord Shiva is known as Kundeshwara Mahadev. There's also a temple there to Manasi Devi, who is the presiding deity of the Manasi Ganga area. And here's the deities. Next, we're going to go to the place in this particular area that the Goswamis told us we should go to first before going on pilgrimage. This is called the Haridev Temple. And in the Haridev Temple, you have the self-manifested deity of Krishna who is holding up Govardhan Hill, is depicted as holding up Govardhan Hill. So here's the deity. Now, the story about this deity is that once upon a time, the gopis were looking for Krishna, and Krishna was hiding, and they were crying out, Haridev, Haridev, Haridev. And all of a sudden, this deity appeared, as you see here. That is, of course, that's the cartoon depiction of that particular pastime. Near there is this Brahmakund, and then we leave this area and we go into the Dangati area. Dangati means the tax pastime, or the path of the tax pastime. And in this particular area, we take our first darshan of the actual hill itself. And on one of the stones from Govardhan Hill, you find the imprints of Krishna's foot. And this is worshipped by the devotees. There's the deities of Lakshmi Narayan that are just in the first part of the footpath. And ISKCON has its center there. This is called the ISKCON Mahal, or ISKCON Palace, which hosts a variety of programs for the devotees, and they have Govardhan Shilas there, Krishna Balaram Govardhan Shilas, Shishi Gornatai, and the Pushpa Samadhi of Tamal Krishna Maharaj. So we are here, you see, I'm in the middle there, with a group, and generally around this time of year or shortly thereafter, we take groups around Govardhan and also sometimes in the spring. So we mentioned this is the tax pastime area. So this is called the Dan Nivartana Kund, which commemorates this tax pastime. Now, why are we so interested in taxes? We're not. We'd rather not pay taxes. And the gopis would rather not pay taxes either. But when you have an expert tax collector, such as Krishna, you have to pay your taxes. So how did Krishna try to extract taxes from the gopis? Well, the gopis were on their way with milk products to this sacrifice at Govinda Kund. And Krishna stopped them and said, you have to pay your taxes. And they argued back and forth. Krishna, of course, was also very romantic. He was charging them taxes for their beauty, especially for that of Srimati Radharani. He said, for your beautiful eyes, you have to pay so many gold coins, for your beautiful ears, etc. Very romantic. Krishna's the most romantic person. He's the transcendental Cupid. So what happened is there was a big argument. Finally, it was resolved that the gopis, the coward girls, would come back the next day and pay their taxes. But the next day, they came back with hundreds of thousands of girls. And there were only a few hundred coward boys. So what they did, as you see here in the picture, is they tied the coward boys to trees, including tying Krishna to a tree, and made them apologize, threatened them with sticks. Didn't really hit them, but threatened them with sticks. And in this way, Krishna surrendered to the gopis. He bowed down to the gopis. A famous pastime told by the Acharyas. Then the next spot we go to is called Chandra Sarovara. Chandra means moon, and Sarovara means like a lake. So in this particular lake, Lord Krishna, or next to this lake, Lord Krishna had many of his rasa lila pastimes. And it's described that the moon was full for a whole night of Lord Brahma while Krishna was dancing with the gopis at this particular location. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu resided there for some time. This is a deity of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that's right on the banks of this particular kund. And near there is another temple commemorating a famous pastime of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's called the Chaturbhuj Temple. It means the four-handed temple or four-armed temple. Now, that refers to Krishna. The temple doesn't have four arms. But Krishna, as he manifests as Lord Vishnu, he has four arms. And when he manifests as Lord Vishnu, sometimes he's trying to hide out from the gopis. He's in disguise. So this is with some distance away from Govardhan where this is. So you see the Govardhan hill from this Chaturbhuj temple. This is the outside of the Chaturbhuj temple, and right next to that is this Narayan Lake and Lakshmi well. And finally, this is Lord Chaitanya's sitting place because Lord Chaitanya also resided here. Finally, we see the Chaturbhuj deity. Krishna has four arms because he was hiding from the gopis. They were looking for him. And when they saw this four-arm form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, naturally they offered obeisances, not recognizing the non-difference from Krishna. And they asked this four-arm form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, where is Krishna? And this four-arm form did not tell him. However, when Srimati Radharani came up, the extra two arms disappeared and Krishna revealed himself in disguise. So here we are walking through the fields to get to this particular location. Next around the hill, there's this place called Gauri Kund. And this is a story where Krishna took on the form of a deity, Gauri, to try to trick Srimati Radharani's mother-in-law and sister-in-law and so-called husband. And so this happened at the Gauri Kund temple. There's a whole story told by the Goswamis, which we don't have time to tell. So as I said, even going through this whole slideshow and telling all the stories, it would take us at least 3 hours just to tell all the stories that are associated with each and every slide. So we mentioned over 5,000 years ago that Govardhan was offered like practically unlimited quantity of food. So this is the location where the food was actually stacked up, the Anakut area. And when this food was stacked up there, Govardhan ate everything and asked, I want more, I want more, I want more. That's Anyor, Anyor, Anyor. And they couldn't give Govardhan any more, and everybody was very upset that they were going to get in trouble. So they finally gave Govardhan a tulsi leaf. And then Govardhan was happy. So we enter into this city called, or town called Anior. So the towns and the cities, they're all named after these various pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So can you imagine like a town being called Give Me More? So this town is called Give Me More. Anior, Anior, Anior. And in this town you'll see two of the deities that were installed by Krishna's great-grandson, Brajanabha. This is Krishna, the small deity, and Balaram, who is known as Dauji. So for those of you who are familiar with this, Dauji Maharaj Ki Jai. And Balaram is Krishna's older brother, non-different from Krishna, just like you have Ram and Lakshman. So Balaram is Sankarshan. And on the top of Govardhan Hill, there's a temple. Of course, we do not walk on Govardhan Hill because Govardhan Hill is considered non-different from the Supreme. It is not. He is non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But some of the local people do walk on it to do their worship on top of the hill. This temple and the one adjoining it, which we'll see in a second, commemorates the spot where the deity of Gopal was installed on top of Govardhan Hill by Madhavendra Puri approximately 600 years ago, 600 or 700 years ago. So this is a very ancient temple. These are all photos that were shot with a drone. And there's the temple again. And we'll tell the story of Madhavendra Puri in a second. There's also a kund right next to the hill there, which is called Sankarshan Kund. And it's described when Indra was attempting to kill the residents of Vrindavan with water, that Sankarshan or Balaram collected all the water and made the kund from this particular incident. So we mentioned that Gopal was installed on top of Govardhan Hill, the deity of Gopal, who is now known as Srinathji. Everybody's heard of Srinathji? You go to Natwar and you can see Srinathji. A lot of these deities that were installed were taken out of the area because of the attack by the invaders, by the Mughals, who used to go into the temples and destroy the temples and basically smash the deities and kill hundreds of devotees at the same time. And this is a very sad epic in Indian history. Sometimes they constructed other religious edifices on top of the temple, such as what happened in Ayodhya. So this is something very common that happened in many, many places in India. So many of these deities, including Gopal, who became known as Srinathji, were taken out of Vrindavan for their protection. Many of the deities were sent to Rajasthan because these Mughals could not defeat the Rajputs. They're very strong. Never have an argument with the Rajput. You'll be in trouble. I did once, and I escaped with my life because I'm a sannyasi. Yeah, he said if you weren't a sannyasi, that would be all over for you. So, anyway, so this is where Gopal was discovered by Madhavendra Puri when he was hidden from the Mughals. And here's a depiction of that story. I mean, it's very small here because Madhavendra Puri discovered Gopal was hidden in the bushes. He had a dream, and Gopal revealed to him that he was hidden in the bushes. After Gopal had manifested himself and given Madhavendra Puri some milk, and then so Madhavendra Puri installed him on top of Govardhan Hill and had him worshipped by many Brahmins. As we proceed around Govardhan, we get to Govinda Kund. Govinda Kund is the lake that collected the water when Krishna was bathed by Indra after Indra had realized he had made a mistake by trying to kill the residents of Vrindavan. So this is famous Govinda Kund. A little aerial shot of Govinda Kund. Another shot of Govinda Kund. And here's a depiction of this particular pastime. You have, of course, Govardhan eating all that food, and then as we go clockwise, there's Indra, who's getting very angry, trying to kill everybody. Krishna protecting the residents of Vrindavan by holding up the hill. Indra realizing his mistake, and Indra apologizing to Krishna. And he actually gave Krishna the name Govinda, which means the protector or pleaser of the cows. And in this place, there's the presiding deities of Radha Govinda. Radha Govinda, and there's some kunds around there, Nipakund, which is a place where the cowherd boys used to take their lunch and use the leaves of the trees as little cups. This is the exact place where Krishna stood and he was bathed by Indra, right next to Govinda Kund. And Madhavendra Puri, who we mentioned before, sat on the banks of the Govinda Kund and meditated. This is his sitting place, his bathing place, and we are getting the blessings of what we call desire trees, because all the trees in Vrindavan are kalpa vrikshas. Kalpa vriksha means a desire tree, that if you go up to it and you ask it for something, you'll get it. So you should all go to Vrindavan, whatever you want. I guess I should tell this funny story. I will. So once upon a time, I was in Vrindavan. I was with one of my friends who somehow or other his marriage didn't work out. So I told him, you should not get remarried. And so I went up to the tree and embraced the tree and prayed for the tree, prayed for him. You know, you pray for someone else, it's powerful. I prayed, you're 50 years old, you don't need to get remarried, chant Hare Krishna, be happy. You don't need to get another job. So I embraced the tree. Please, tree, please, Krishna, help him. And I said, look, I just prayed for you. And he said to me, don't do that, Maharaj. So he ran up to the same tree and held it with 10 times the force and prayed the opposite. My dear Krishna, let me get married. And then, 2 weeks later, he was married, had an instant family, a wife and 3 kids. It works, but it also depends on how strong your desire is. So you want to ask for the right thing, obviously. You want to ask for Krishna consciousness, pure devotional service, spiritual enlightenment, like that. So this is what I asked for. I learned my lesson. So, okay, so this is the place where Madhavendra Puri bathed, where this tree is a very, very special tree. We leave that place and continue clockwise around the hill. And there's this Doka Dauji temple. Dauji, of course, means Balaram. Doka means shocked. So Balaram was shocked. This temple commemorates that spot when he was standing on top of the hill and saw Krishna with his rasa dance. And when he saw Krishna dancing his rasa dance, he was so shocked, he dropped his mukut, his crown, and his crown made an imprint on the Shila, on the ground. And this is called the Balaram Mukut Shila. Very, very special place. As the devotees go around Govardhan, there's this tradition of building little houses out of the stones on Govardhan. And it's said if you build a house from the stones on Govardhan, you're building a house for yourself in the spiritual world. So many people try to build a 10-story house, but then they go to the wrong place in the spiritual world. They go to the Vaikuntha planets rather than to Goloka Vrindavan. Govardhan is also replete with peacocks and peahens on the top of the hill, and many, many beautiful cows, as you see here. Now we reach the tip of the tail of Govardhan. And in the tail of Govardhan, as we said, Govardhan is shaped like a peacock, so there's the peacock's tail. There's the manifestation of all the incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Particularly, there's this Nrsimha temple. Lord Nrsimhadev is the half-man, half-lion incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who protected his devotee Prahlad Maharaj. An aerial shot of that temple. These temples are hundreds and hundreds of years old, if not thousands of years old. And we visit the deities in the temple, and there is the deity of Ugra Nrsimha. Ugra Nrsimha means the angry half-man, half-lion incarnation of the Lord, who killed Hiranyakashipu, protecting Hiranyakashipu's son, Prahlad Maharaj. Oftentimes we get asked by people who don't know anything about the story, and they see a picture of this ferocious half-man, half-lion, and they ask, "Oh my God, this is really gross," they say. And I say, no, it's not. He's attacking a child abuser. Nobody likes child abusers. And the Pujari is giving us special darshan of these deities. Also at the tail, there's two kunds called Apsara Kund and Naval Kund. And these two kunds were formed from the love that Radha and Krishna have for each other. It's described that their love melted into these kunds and formed the waters of these kunds. There's Radha and Krishna. An aerial shot of the kunds. The coward boys also played there. And there's one devotee, or a deity of a devotee there, who's known as Puncharika Lota Baba, it commemorates a great devotee of Krishna who wanted to give Krishna some prasadam, or food. And Krishna was on his way to Mathura, and Krishna said, "I'm just now coming back." But he waited a long time, and he's still waiting. This is the very tail of Govardhan. Got a lot of people here. Hare Krishna. Okay, this is the tail of Govardhan. We proceed around Govardhan. There's the various incarnations of the Lord that reside at Govardhan. Krishna had many pastimes in the caves of Govardhan. This is one cave called the Manikandali cave, where a great devotee, Raghava Pandit, used to chant his japa. I used to go in this cave and chant japa too, until I discovered the bats in there. So Radha and Krishna would actually have secret pastimes in these caves. There's also a Nathji temple there at the tail of Govardhan, Sri Nathji. So then we round the tail, come back the other side, and then you find the footprint of Airavata, who's Indra's elephant, when Indra came down to apologize, which is right next to the place where Indra was standing when he bathed Krishna. This place is called the Indra Puja Shrine, and this is inside the shrine. Next, we come to the Kund, a lake. Wow, I don't think we have room for everybody here. Shouldn't we have the bathing down there? Wouldn't there be more room down there and here? Two lines. I think people have to step on each other. So my idea was better. So anyway, so then you have Surabhi is the, let's say, celestial cow. Okay. Surabhi is a celestial cow that was sent by Indra to cool down Krishna, because Krishna was very angry that Indra was trying to kill the residents of Vrindavan. So Indra sent down Surabhi first because Krishna would never get angry at a cow. Krishna is known as Govinda, protector of the cows. Gopal, the transcendental cowherd boy. Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahmanataya Cha, Jagaditaya, Krishnaya, Govindaya, Namo Namaha. And this is some pictures of Surabhi Kund, where Surabhi kept the transcendental milk that she utilized to bathe Krishna with. Also on Govardhan, there's these Nil Gal. That means not. Some people say they look blue, but this doesn't look too blue to me. So these, they're actually a type of deer that reside on the side of Govardhan. Very, very beautiful, and it's considered auspicious to see these deer. There's Rudan Kund, because Lord Shiva comes to Govardhan sometimes. He was looking at Krishna's pastimes. And this Kund originally was formed by the tears of Indra as he was meditating on Krishna. Rudan Kund, sometimes called Rudra Kund. And there is Lord Shiva crying in ecstasy, because Lord Shiva is considered to be the greatest devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu. Connected with Rudan Kund at the outside is this place called Hariju Kund. That's a lake that was formed by the tears of the gopis as they were crying out of separation from Krishna. Also, Krishna and his cowherd boys had many, many pastimes, playful pastimes there. Indra also cried, and he made another Kund. And this Kund is called Indra Kund, because Indra was crying tears of fear and then tears of ecstasy later on. So all these beautiful kunds there, and the devotees take water from these kunds, put them on their head, and derive great spiritual nourishment by doing so. And then we enter a city that is called Yatipur, something called Yatipur, which translates as the city of the sannyasi. So the reason it's called the city of the sannyasi is that's close to where Madhavendra Puri was. Madhavendra Puri was a great devotee who discovered Gopal Srinathji, which I described before. And so that city is named after him. And incidentally, whenever I go through this city, it's actually a town or village, whatever you call it, whenever I go through there and people try to ask me for a donation, what do I tell them? This is my city. I'm a sannyasi. So what they do is they say, oh, please, give me something. You know, and I spread my cape out and I said, no, you give me something. Then they run away because they're afraid. They know they're supposed to. And in the city, there's this place called the Dandavat Shila, which means if you offer obeisances to the Shila, you will overcome any offenses you may have committed while going around Govardhan. Very, very special place. Then, I'm going really quickly because we're actually over time already. Then we get to close to Govardhan, there's a place called Gantoli where Radha and Krishna had a secret marriage. Gantoli means tying a knot. So they had a secret marriage where their clothes were tied together. It was called Gantoli, ancient temple there. Some of these temples are not taken care of very well. And next to Gantoli, there's Gulal Kund, which is a place of Radha and Krishna's holy pastimes. And even without throwing dyes into the water, every year the water turns different colors. Gulal Kund. Lord Chaitanya also resided at this place. There's a deity of Lord Chaitanya there. There we see Radha and Krishna being immersed in different colors during the holy festival. Next is Valachu Kund. Valachu Kund is a very special place because Radharani had lost one of her earrings in this kund, and these are the deities there, Radha, Valachu, Bihari. Radharani had lost one of her earrings in this kund, and Krishna came along as Radharani was looking for her earrings, and Krishna said, I'll find you your earrings. So Krishna went down and he found a whole bunch of new earrings and gave them to his most beloved, Shrimati Radharani. Beautiful pastime. So as we walk around Govardhan, we remember these pastimes, we meditate on these pastimes, we take our time, not like right now. And this way we become immersed in spiritual ecstasy. Uddhava Kund is where Uddhava resides. Uddhava, of course, is Krishna's advisor. And Uddhava was sent to Vrindavan to placate the residents of Vrindavan who were feeling separation from Krishna. So Uddhava resides there as he prays as grass and creepers at this particular location of Uddhava Kund. There's one of our devotees taking, who's Padma, she lives here right now because she's older and she has her own children. And this is the Giriraj, who is the used to be the Pujari. He passed away a number of years ago. His father did 1,000 parikramas of Govardhan to get him as a son, and he took care of this temple. He's a very good friend of mine. And the deities there, Uddhava Bihari, there's two sets of Uddhava Bihari deities. Now we're entering the head of Govardhan, which is the Radhakund area. The first thing we see when we enter the Radhakund area is this Mahaprabhu Chaitanya temple, and which has giant deities of Lord Chaitanya, which we couldn't take pictures of. And then as we go by that temple, there's this, very close by, there's this Malyahari Kund. At this Malyahari Kund, let's tell the story real quickly. It's a long story. Krishna wanted to grow pearls. So he asked his mother for her pearls so he could plant them in the ground and grow pearls. And his mother said, that doesn't work like that. You know, pearls come from oysters. So Krishna eventually took the pearls anyway, convinced his mother, planted them in the ground, watered the pearls with different milk products. The plants were growing, the gopis were making fun of Krishna. And basically what happened is they turned into pearl trees with multicolored pearls. And basically the gopis asked for some of those pearls because previously they had refused to give their pearls to Krishna. So Krishna said, you refuse to give me your pearls, I'm not giving you any of my pearls. In fact, I'm going to give all my pearls to the cows and the monkeys and the squirrels and whatever else is here. So you have all these animals running around with squirrels, with pearls on them. And the poor gopis, they don't have any pearls. So they decide, you know, we're going to plant our own pearls. So they take their mother's pearls without permission, plant them in the ground, water them, and what grows is just a bunch of thorn trees. And they keep begging Krishna, begging. Finally, Krishna relents, and he gives them their own pearls in engraved boxes. So Krishna's very kind. He's very forgiving. He doesn't harbor a grudge. So then there's this called Shiva Kori, not to Lord Shiva. Shiva refers to where Radharani freed a jackal that was being tortured by some boys and enabled the jackal to transform himself into a gopi and go back to the spiritual world. We're not going to go through all of Radhakund. That's a whole other slideshow, which would take another hour and a half. Here we are exiting Radhakund, going to this famous place called Kushama Sarovara, where Krishna used to become the Vanamale, the person who took care of the garden and decorated the gopis with flowers. It's a beautiful place, and the cowherd boys would have their lunch there. Famous, it's one of perhaps the most famous places Govardhan that people hear about. One of the most picturesque places, as we see here in this particular picture. Beautiful place. Here's a view from the air. And the devotees are taking water. It's described that if you take some water from a particular place at Kushama Sarovar, you will transform from a male to a female. So we were careful about that. But that's where Narada Muni did that, because he wanted to see Krishna's pastimes and with the gopis, and he had to take a female form because Lord Shiva wouldn't let him in otherwise. So he became Naradi, a female Narada Muni, and later resided at Govardhan, which we'll mention in a second. Here's Krishna performing one of his various pastimes with Srimati Radharani. Krishna was holding down a branch unseen in the tree, and Radharani was trying to collect flowers, and the branch was low at that particular time because it had the weight of Krishna on it. And so Krishna jumped down, and Radharani flew up in the air, holding to the branch, and Krishna said, "I'll catch you," and she got really angry with him. Krishna also becomes the hairdresser for Srimati Radharani. This temple, called the Bandhavahari Temple, commemorates this pastime. There's Govardhan Shilas. One Govardhan Shila is a Radharani Shila. The other one is a Krishna Shila. And as we see here, the Krishna Shila is decorating the hair of Srimati Radharani. And Srimati Radharani is using a mirror to look not at herself, but to look at Krishna. Beautiful depiction of this pastime. There's another Uddhava temple here. It's an ancient temple to Uddhava. It's taken care of, or used to be taken care of by a friend of mine. We mentioned Narada Muni resides or resided in this area. There's a kund, or lake, that signifies that particular spot, a deity of Narada Muni. And Narada Muni composed the Narada Bhakti Sutras and Narada Pancharatra at this place. It also hosted Kayadu, who is the mother of Prahlad Maharaj and wife of Hiranyakashipu. Nearby, there's the Ratnakund area. The Ratnakund means the jewel kund. Shaimakund area, or Shamkutir, Shamkutir area, where the famous pastime of Shankachuda trying to steal Radharani took place. And Shankachuda's jewel that was given to him by Kuvera originally became the Shaimantaka jewel. Later on, you have that whole episode of the pastime in Dwarka. Krishna's footprints are also there, along with the cow's footprints. And here we are, worshiping those footprints. And the place where the jeweled throne of Radha and Krishna was is signified or marked. And the pastime of the rasa dance took place there. So here you see a depiction of the rasa dance and Srimati Radharani being worshipped on a jeweled throne. So the center of all the Braj pastimes is the relationship between Radha and Krishna. Of course, this is not an ordinary mundane relationship. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has a Satchidananda Vigraha, an eternal, blissful, spiritual form, full of knowledge. And Radharani also. So their pastime of loving exchanges is all enacted on the spiritual platform and enables us to understand what pure love is, as contrasted with the relationships that are in this world that have some personal motivation to them. As Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu prays in the Shikshashtika, a devotee wants to serve Krishna regardless of whatever reciprocation he or she may get from Krishna. That is pure love. In the material world, to one extent or other, love tends to be like a business exchange. To one extent or another. So I'm not going to get into that detail. That's a sannyas class. So, Radha and Krishna's pastimes. Gwalpakur, where the coward boys would enjoy their pastimes, especially the pastime of taking all the ladus from Madhu Mangal. Because Madhu Mangal was a coward boy and he would perform Surya Puja, and they would award him with ladus. He never asked for money, he just wanted ladus. And they took it all, and Madhu Mangal wanted to curse them all, but later on they gave him more ladus and he was pacified. And then the coward boys sat around eating the ladus and feeling very, very happy. So this pretty much finishes the parikrama pretty quick, isn't it? There's more places, but this is all we had time for right now. So we end by putting our head on Govardhan and asking for blessings of Govardhan, feeling completely ecstatic with the devotees. See, the devotees are very happy. There's actually more places, like Panchatirtha Kund. And then when we take pilgrims around, we have our classes in the evening there. This is a place called Brajba Sundara, where we stay and we enliven the devotees with different pastimes and classes about the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna. So you're all invited to come to Govardhan. So that was a very quick parikrama. So we went 15 minutes more than I wanted to, but that went pretty quick. So now we'll get on with this. Anyone have any questions? Quick questions. Yes. Those pictures, the drawings were made by a devotee named Madhava Priya, who's a disciple of mine. And it's a giant picture. Let's say the painting is so big, it goes from where I am to the wall over there. And I have the original in my house, and I have scans of it too. You know, we make copies of it and everything like that too. So that's, what happened is that I had a talk with her and I described what I wanted. I told her about the different pastimes around. We had a satellite picture of Govardhan, and following that whole outline of Govardhan in the satellite picture, in proportion, she made the painting. It's an amazing painting. And, of course, that was the first slide. Let's go back to the first slide over there. Go back all the way to the beginning, so you can see the extent of the painting. Pretty complex. And so what we were doing throughout this demonstration, we were zooming in on different aspects of the painting, different portions of the painting to depict those pastimes. Okay, I think we have to get going. We have a program. Thank you very much. All glories to Giri Govardhan, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Vivo. Jai.
Srila Prabhupada, Jai.
Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us for this very, very wonderful festival of Diwali and Sri Govardhan Puja. So first of all, let's express our gratitude to His Holiness Bir Krishna Goswami Maharaj. Just sitting here in North Carolina, we have this whole yatra all around Giriraj Govardhan in Sri Vrindavan Dham. So let's express our gratitude. His Holiness Bir Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki
Srila Prabhupada, Jai.
Jai. Hare Krishna. Haribo.
Okay.
And as Maharaj said, it's be our greatest fortune to be a part of the yatra where we can actually, Maharaj can take us around Giriraj Govardhan. So that's our prayer, that we can be a part of the yatra with Maharaj. So thank you everyone for coming, and we'd like to welcome everyone. And also we have a wonderful group of devotees from the Swaminarayan temple. Can you just raise your hands? Yes.
Haribo.
So let's welcome them, warmly welcome them. Haribo!
Very nice.
Thank you all so much for coming. It's our honor to have you all here. Thank you, Hare Krishna. And welcome everyone. Our program schedule is, right now we are going to have Abhishek of Giriraj Govardhan. And after the Abhishek, with Giriraj Govardhan, we'll go as a procession downstairs to the hill of sweets, and Giriraj Govardhan will accept all those offerings, and we all will offer ghee lamps to Giriraj Govardhan, go around. So Maharaj actually talked of different pastimes. So we can meditate on this wonderful pastimes, and we'll circumambulate Giriraj Govardhan. We actually, on our altar, we have this Shila Giriraj Govardhan right from Vrindavan Dham. So we all will get to circumambulate, which is a tradition which Lord Krishna himself started. So we'll go around Giriraj Govardhan, we'll offer ghee lamps to Giriraj Govardhan, we'll sing Damodar Ashtakam, and then we will also have few cultural programs and then dinner prasada. Okay, and also